Welcome to Mother-Daughter Projects. I'm Steph.
I'm Vicki.
And today we're going to show you how we made this awesome live edge wood glow table.
It all started with a piece of wood 9.5 feet long that we happened to find on the side of the road at a little family-owned sawmill.
If you're looking for live edge wood, look in your local neighborhood, see what you can find. Try Googling sawmill and see what comes up. Also, Woodcraft in Rockler has a lot of good wood like this.
The first thing we needed to do was cut the piece of wood into 2 manageable pieces. Well, we got ready to cut the wood, and we were very excited that we were going to get ready to cut this wood, and we realized we didn't have a saw that was big enough to cut through the wood. But we came up with a solution using the tools that we had.
So we used our circular saw to make the first cut, and then we set up a metal fence right next to that cut, and we used our sawzall to make the rest of the cut. And to our surprise, it cut really well. We used this technique to make 3 cuts.
After we cut the wood into pieces, we started sanding. I started with 40 grit sandpaper, working up all the way to 220. Well, while I was sanding it, I realized the back edge was dead and was not going to accept staying the same way the rest of the wood was. So we decided we were going to cut that edge off using that same technique with the circular saw and the sawzall to cut it off. The section of wood that we made Steph's table out of had lots of wormholes in it, so we needed to find a way to take care of those.
I've been wanting to try this technique for a long time where we mix epoxy with glow powder, and so we decided this was the perfect piece of wood to do that with. So we found this glow powder that's purple during the day and it glows blue at night, and you know, we like purple and blue, so that was perfect for us. And we found some instructions online on how to use it, and we bought it and we did a test, and it worked out really well.
Before we actually poured the epoxy, we finished the top of the table. We used mineral spirits to clean it up, then we used a walnut stain, then we finished it off with 3 coats of clear finish.
We noticed some of the wormholes actually went all the way through, so we needed to make sure we taped up the whole bottom side of the table before we poured the epoxy on the top. So we put down a lot of painter's tape and aluminum tape over that.
We followed the manufacturer's instructions on how to mix the epoxy and mix in the glow powder. And then we poured over several days, waiting 24 hours between each pour.
Once we finished pouring all of the front epoxy, we took all the tape off the back, and we only had a couple areas that spilled, so if we were to do this again, we would probably have used masking tape, and we'd use the wider masking tape because our holes on the back were so big that some of the epoxy actually went into some of the tape. So pretty much it worked well, but we would use a little bit wider tape if we did this again.
Once we pulled the tape off the back, we realized there were some holes that still needed to be filled, so we mixed up more epoxy and filled those.
We learned so much about epoxy and glow powder in this process, so we'll put a lot more information for you on our website.
The last thing we did to finish off the tabletop was to use a spray clear coat on the bark.
This table has a lot of weight to it, so we wanted to make sure we found legs that would be sturdy enough to hold it. And so we found some heavy-duty hairpin legs on Rockler.com, and then we attached them, and it worked perfect. What we learned? We learned that we can make a live edge wood table by ourselves with the tools we have, which was really exciting. We thought we were going to need a planer and a belt sander, and don't get me wrong, that would have been awesome to have those tools, but we were able to do it with what we have, and you know, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It's pretty awesome.
The coolest thing about this whole build was we were able to cut this using the circular saw and a sawzall. We thought that was a pretty ingenious solution. We were very excited to share that with our woodworking friends.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. Wow. It did exactly what we thought we'd do. I love how this table turned out. This is a new buffet table for my dining room, and I couldn't be more happy with it. And it's also so cool at night when all the lights are out to see that little pop of glow.
Okay, you know, I've got that slab at my house. We need to go work on my table.
Let's go. Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe.